Hello, welcome to Chop Shop Motors. My name is Clay, and I thought I would give you a little bit of a kind of a catch-up video on the 30-day truck build that was Chopper. That's the 55 F100. Because of some content that we lost, some of the content that's getting loaded up are some of the earlier versions, and we realized that there may be some people that are jumping into this kind of channel and into this content, and they don't really understand the backstory because a couple of those early setup videos are no longer exist. So let me kind of fill in the gaps. So a year or so ago, we were pretty heavy into looking for parts for a pretty nice F100 build. So I was gathering up kind of the best pieces I could afford or I could find on, without breaking the bank, to build an F100. I tend to lean toward the pinch cab, so I like the 53-5s, and I've had 5 or 6 of them, if not more, and so that's kind of my sweet spot. And what led to it was I had a change in vocation. So well, not a change in vocation, a change of employer. So because of all that, I had sold a couple projects just as kind of paying homage to the new employer gods, and so I'd sold off a couple really cool projects, and everything settled down, and work kind of found its groove again, and all was good in the world. And I had this hunger for an F100. So I have more old car projects than I deserve, so I really I wasn't slighted, but being an old car lover, I wanted that F100, so I started looking for pieces. So I found some pieces, pulled them together, then I found some nicer pieces, and so I sort of had a pretty decent project that was in the works, and then I had a whole bunch of leftover pieces. And what came from it was really a challenge. Shelby and I were chatting as we were doing an unboxing. Sadly, the unboxing we weren't able to save. We didn't have it backed up. But during an unboxing, that it would be kind of cool to do a build out of all of these leftover pieces and see if we could make something run, just to bring it back, just kind of to see if we could do it and what it would be like. Not because not a bunch of people have done that, so it's not like we were doing something that hadn't been done already. I just didn't want to see these pieces that were not fantastic go to waste when they would still kind of make a cool truck. So we talked about it, we kept talking about it, and ultimately we came up with the idea of could we put together a truck in 30 days? And 30 days of effort was kind of the idea behind it. And I'm an optimist around what I can accomplish in the garage, so I'm like, sure, I can. We can do that. Let's try it. And Shelby was on board, so I started laying the foundation to do that. What really was the tipping point was I bought F250. That was a pretty decent project, and my plan ultimately turned out to be use the nice fenders off of it, use the better hood off of it, use the better cab off of it on the future truck, the future nice build. And so I ended up having an F250 chassis, motor, potentially could be a runner, who knows, and paperwork. So at that point, we had enough enough pieces to say, let's try it. The videos that are both the ones that were up in order and some of the ones that are coming up as new ones are really the work it took to take an F250 and turn it into an F100. And it, you know, there were lots of ways to probably do it. Ultimately, I just shortened the frame and moved the pickup points versus cutting the frame in the middle and welding it back together. And when I'm all said and done and I look at the project, that seemed to work pretty well. We weren't trying to make a Riddler Award winner truck when we were all done. We really just wanted to see if we could make a truck that looked like an F100, and at its kind of heart and soul really was. It's still titled as an F250, and quite honestly, I don't know that anybody who, you know, if we don't keep it, it ends up going down the road. I don't think anybody's going to care, because it is what it is. It is what you look at and see. We took that F250, we shortened it. I shortened it. I moved the spring purchase forward. I used an F100 rear end. I used F100 backing plates on the front. We took the best of the leftover parts like brake drums and wheel cylinder kits and master cylinder and all that stuff, and I rebuilt it. I used what was usable. If something was scary, I replaced it. I didn't put us in danger. We put new brake hoses, new wheel cylinder kits, new master cylinder kit, replaced a bunch of the brake lines, things like that. I just replaced, but that's really a pretty small amount of stuff to have to do to end up with a truck when you're all done. The mixture is mostly F100 with some F250 sprinkled in, and that posed a couple, you know, opportunities to figure out how to make those pieces come together and work together, but all of it was doable. So these videos show some of the I don't know, marginal or really some of the leftover pieces that nobody wanted. The fenders came from a buddy of mine's project. He didn't want them anymore. He had nicer ones. The running boards were off of a parts truck that I bought, and the one running board was pretty mangled. The other one was pretty rusty. So that's kind of the backstory. I hope you enjoy the videos as we pulled it together. It was a pretty fun project. We probably did it in about 30 days. I had a bunch of friends come over and we did the cab swap on it. I rebuilt a bunch of the parts to put it together or saved them. You know, the bed was an interesting project, trying to save it. The goal was not to spend a bunch of money on it. So I tallied it up and really all in on this truck, figuring out what the stuff was worth after I bought better parts, and really accounting for what did I really pay for these pieces that were cast-offs, because you know, you still have a little bit of money in them even if they weren't the whole reason you bought the pile. I ended up with $2,000 in this truck, all said and done. Now I put a lot of work into it, and Shelby helped me a bunch, but that's not a very big outlay of cash to end up with running, driving F100. And since the last videos have gone up, I've done some other things just to improve kind of the truck itself. Not cosmetically, it doesn't really look any different, but you know, all the electrical works. It's got, you know, everything. It doesn't have turn signals, but I did find a turn signal switch to put in it. Brakes work really well. It's got a dome light. It's got all the gauges. The fuel gauge works. All the stuff that you would expect out of you know, a decent project work on this now. So to sum it up, follow along. We'll try to fill in the pieces where we can from video content that we have. That's the backstory. It was a personal challenge to Chop Shop Motors to put a truck together out of leftover pieces that really, quite honestly, the pile of parts probably I wouldn't have been able to get 2,000 out of them. So follow along, like, share, subscribe if you think it's kind of fun. And that's the backstory to why some of the videos are coming up in mixed order. Moving forward, we should be good as we build on the 32 pickup and the Buffy, the F100, which is a 72, the blue and white one. We're moving forward on it. So we got some really cool projects. We'll try to get them up in order so that you don't have to wonder why things are happening in kind of a mismatch. But that's the story. So I hope that answers any questions as you look at it and go, why is this happening this way? It's happening that way because that's just how it works. I'm Clay for Chop Shop Motors. Thanks for watching this little short piece. Join us for all the rest of the builds. We're going to have all kinds of fun stuff happening this year. See you on the next project.